Hey everyone, welcome to the Digital Huddle, and today is going to be an incredible day because we have someone who's been a coach for our parking team. But before all of that, before maybe you even knew him, he was doing quite a bit in the business world. And today he's going to bring a lot of knowledge and wisdom from that world and impart it to us at the Huddle. So I'm so excited. Everyone get loud, get crazy, get in the comments for Bryan Frazier. What's up, Bryan? How you doing?
Hey guys, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today.
Yeah, man, I'm
And
so glad to have you today, man. And you got so much wisdom inside of you. And I know we've just had a few conversations lately where man has really leaned into so much that you had to offer just from your life experiences. And I want to thank you for that. So today I want you to share with everyone else. Give us like a little update, like get us up to now on some of this wisdom and the experience that you've had and share with us what's on your heart, man.
yeah, I thought what I would do because I've got 40 years of business experience, try to condense it down to less than 5 minutes. But one of the things I remember, it was either Ben or a guest speaker, maybe both, saying that it's important that we witness or share our faith in Christ to try to lead others to Christ in our daily dealings, not just at church, but in our work, job, school.
Yeah.
And it struck me because had it not been for people like that doing that with me over the course of time, I would have gotten lost or backslid many times. And I think Ben said on average, there's people need at least 7 interactions with a Christian before they really get it and it sticks. And you don't save anybody the first time. You got to keep trying. Well, for me, it probably took 9 or 10. I would get on the path and go back. So I thought I'd just summarize some of the people that God put in my life real quickly that led me to these aha moments. Um, it started in high school. The assistant coach of my high school wrestling and football team was a giant of a man, young Jerry Slammer. He was a Division I lineman, full scholarship, could have gone to the NFL. 6'6", 250-pound guy. Came in as a young teacher in our school and spent a lot of time building us physically, but quickly in the weight room or afterwards, he was not shy about the Bible. And he would witness to us, encourage us to pray before all practices. And he started a Bible study, which may not be allowed in high school now, but when I was 16, I had professional educators that were physically powerfully successful athletically, but also spiritually began to tease my curiosity about God. But back then, most of my community was Catholic, and most of religion was what we thought of, and we were struggling with, what is God? Is it the laws of Moses, or is it gospel grace, or is it something else? And really, I really wasn't ready for that message to stick yet.
Yeah.
Later, I went to work for a Chingy shoe store and Foot Locker, and it turns out 3 or 4 of my managers along my career path opening Foot Locker stores ended up being born again Christians. And as their careers advanced and they moved up the ranks nationally, they would recruit me and take me with them. And in the back rooms of some shoe stores, I had the benefit of some strong Christian men sharing their testimony. In college, I was president of fraternity. It happened to be during the national championship days. One of my fraternity brothers was a guy named Greg Garrity, who was on the cover of Sports Illustrated because we beat Herschel Walker, the Georgia Bulldogs, that when I was in school. And what a lot of people don't know is the quarterback, the guy that threw that pass, was Todd Blackledge. Todd and Bob Bainey would sit in my fraternity keg parties at the top of the stairs and serve water and hand out pamphlets for athletes in action with the Bible. And in the middle of a fraternity party, fitness. And Bob, my friend, ended up becoming president of my fraternity. So God continued to have a hand in my life through witnesses of people that weren't afraid to faithfully trust him to give testimony.
Hold on one second. I love that because I think you're right. It tells the story that so many of us live or need to be a part of living because there is the seed and you have multiple people are playing a part in your life, watering the seed and in order for it to grow and get to the place where God has ultimately led you. And so it's really cool to see that even though it was taking a while and years and people, no one was giving up. Everyone kept on coming into your path to shine bright in your life, and I just think it's incredible to see what God was doing for years in your life.
You know what? You use two phrases, water the seed and shine bright. And I hadn't thought of it that way, but I would say in the first 20 years of my young adult life, where I was very focused on making money and performance anxiety, and I worshipped material things more than I like to admit. But people were watering seeds around 2012. The light, the laser beam of truth started to really cut through me. And it went from just my seeds being watered for me really focusing on who Christ really was. Um, and while I was at Foot Locker, I was teaching management training programs. And the first book they had me certify and do a program on was called The 1 Minute Manager. So they would fly me around the country and I would teach a class for 4 hours on a book called 1 Minute Manager written by a guy named Ken Blanchard. And they flew me to the ASTD, American Society of Training Development Conference,
Yeah.
where I met Dr. Blanchard as a young training guy. Well, fast forward to 2012. In 2011, I was the pinnacle of my career economically. They were paying me way too much money to be the head of HR for a company out of Jacksonville, Florida. And when the real estate boom hit, I had to lay off 300 people, and then I had to lay myself off. And I had 3 young kids, and it broke me. I had no idea how much faith I had put in my own professional identity, and how the layoff drove me into a real place of sadness and brokenness where I have to admit I was depressed, even though I didn't admit it. Well, the Lord led me to West Palm Beach, and I got a call from a guy I used to work with at Blockbuster, and he said, "Hey, will you come on down here? We're starting this new thing called Ribovich, run by Wayne Huizenga Jr." And I had worked with him at Blockbuster. And long story short, I showed up for an interview the Wednesday before Thanksgiving in 2011, and by 2012, I was moving my family down here. Shortly after that, as I was beginning to move and before I had even signed the offer letter, they asked me to look at a video testimonial from Wayne Jr. called "I Am Second," where he gives a testimonial about how he went from being a hard partying, hard charging son of a billionaire to a Christian man. And I'm thinking, that's weird. These guys are recruiting me with a biblical testimonial from the CEO. A few weeks later, they sent me to San Diego, California to get certified to teach situational leadership. And second day of the class, the instructor said, "Hey, we have a special guest. He just happens to be here. He's going to come in and give a few comments at lunch." Dr. Ken Blanchard, the founder of our company and the author of Situational Leadership. I'm like, "Oh, cool. I'll get to see Ken Blanchard again." Well, he showed up, informal chat, and proceeds to tell us that in San Diego, he's about to run out and he can't stay long because he's catching a plane to West Palm Beach, Florida, because he's co-leading a seminar called the World Leaders Summit. I'm like, wait a minute. I just came here from West Palm and I'm sitting here in San Diego and you're going back to where I came from. So he ended this discussion by saying, "Well, what I need you guys to know is I've started a new company. My son and my family are running this company, Blanchard. I'm still on the board, but my new passion is called Lead Like Jesus. And you'll see more about that to come later." So if that wasn't enough, those were not coincidences. That within 2 months, in my most broken moment, that professionally I was getting a lot of God in my life through some very influential people. And I will tell you, there was a point at that point where I realized my influencers weren't just professional coaches, they were guardian angels.
Yeah.
And they really led me with a laser beam to a new path. And shortly after that, I met Melissa Pierce in a flower shop near my office on Broadway in a ministry called Epic Beauty.
Yep.
And I walked by my billionaire boss over there to meet her, and we hosted ice cream socials outside of the flower shop in the hood down there in the early days of Generation Church, which kind of leads us to where we are today, I guess.
All right. So God had his hand on you for years and years and years. I love that you've had all these interactions with Ken Blanchard, and now I don't think any coincidence that I'm teaching the Lead Like Jesus Monday night group as well. that he wrote. And
Yeah,
um,
that blew me away when you announced your NT side. You didn't know this about me at all.
yeah, no, he does such a great job of pulling the business world in with living your life in a Christ-like way. And so, um, with all of that said, you've had so many amazing experiences, and God had His hand on you for so long. And I know we didn't prepare to even talk about this part, but I just feel like you've been such an inspiration to so many, even in recent years, with everything you've been going on um, health wise. I mean, you were battling cancer and all these things, and yet you now are shining bright on other people, even in the midst of a very difficult season of your life. And I just really feel like for all those people that really poured into you and helped lead you to where you are today, just the way you live your life is doing the same thing to so many others. There's so many other seeds being watered because of your faithfulness. And so, first off, I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for being faithful and keeping your eyes on Jesus even whenever it's a difficult season. And now God's doing this miracle in your health as well. But I didn't prepare you for this, but tell us how you've stayed faithful, strong, and just going all in for God in this season.
You know, that's right on target because really the answer is faith, which is spiritual trust. And all my corporate management training and all my leadership sessions I've done and all the books I've read and all the people I've met with, Patrick Lencioni in the 5 Days Focusing Team says the foundation of all team building and all successful teams is trust. And really, trust is a corporate word. Faith is the same thing. It's trusting God. And when I got hit with the cancer diagnosis, they told me I may never speak again and I may lose my life. I mean, they told me the radiation is going to rack your body and you will never be the same.
Yeah.
Well, my body's never going to be the same. My voice is scratchy now. I have trouble eating. Um, but my spirit is stronger than ever. I will tell you that had it not been for trusting God and really looking for other trustworthy Christians to have honest discussions with about spirituality and biblical truth, I would not have gotten through it. I God prepared me for the cancer because He had already started building a new friend circle with me.
Yeah.
Um, he had started to lead me to His Word. So instinctively, when I knew that I was going to be in a lot of pain medically, that I had to double down on my time with God. I didn't even blink. And had it not been for all these influencers in my prior life, I probably wouldn't have believed that. But I've seen so many other men and women who've gone before me to show me that it works if you just have faith. You know, Tony Frezza, some of you guys may know,
Yeah.
he writes about the spectrum. And that's the other takeaway I took. I spent a lot of my first part of my life thinking everything is a binary. You know, who's better, Democrats or Republicans? You spoke to that over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
What's more important, Moses' law or the grace of God?
Yep.
What kind of boss do I really need? A directive, commanding boss that tells me how to do things, gives me clarity, or a supportive, nurturing boss that listens to me and likes my ideas? But my whole life, because I was so performance anxiety focused, was binary.
Yeah.
I have to make a choice. It's this or that, this or that. When you have faith in God, or you operate on the spectrum, you realize it's not or, it's and. Um, I, I need the laws of Moses and the grace of God.
Yeah.
I can go to a bar that serves beer, like Todd Black's did, and drink water and still be a great example, a shining example. I don't need to bifurcate and put everything in binary buckets because when you do that,
Mm.
all you do is create conflict and
Yeah.
drive people away. Um, and it's soul crushing for yourself because you can never win because we weren't made to be perfect.
Yep. I,
So
I
a
think
lot of
I
it
think what you're
was,
saying right here, man, is that we got to be careful never to put God in a box, right? I mean, it's not an or, it's an and. And God could be your provider and your healer and the disciplinary and the, you know what I mean? Like God can be all these things in your life and lead you.
Well, one of the programs I teach basically has this formula, and it says trust, we call it faith, but trust in business context has two elements. It's mutual purpose
Yep.
plus mutual respect. And it's not or, it's not mutual purpose or mutual respect.
Yep.
And it's virtually impossible to keep a balance or a blend of those two things without the Holy Spirit
Yep.
and without faith in God, because it's humanly almost impossible to be able to juxtapose all the time because it's a moving dance floor in life. The world is tough, but you need both. It's not binary. And I think, some of you, what you and Ben are teaching are the visions and goals of the church, which really is to help lead others to Christ
Yeah.
and have a conversation with Christ, not just show up and be religious
Mhm.
and have faith in Christ. But it's not just preach the vision, but it's how do we do that with respect for the people that maybe don't believe or have legitimate skepticism without making them feel judged? And that's really the path I'm on now. What I'm trying to improve at is how can I be truthful, exhort the truth of the Bible without being judgmental?
Yeah.
And I think you guys, the leaders of our church, are doing a really good job showing us how to do that. I want to thank you for that.
I appreciate you. Well, listen, you and I went over time. We always do though. You and I just have so much I feel like to talk about. But if you had 1 minute just to tell whoever's watching, it's our dream team here. If you're gonna tell them one next step, hey, I want to know, like Bryan, you got advice for me to take one next step in my walk. What do I need to do today?
The one next step, at least for people like me that are very proud, competitive, think that you can do it all, humble yourself.
Ooh,
Um, Bow at the cross. And even when you're having a great day, making $1 million a year or winning a national championship, I've surrounded myself with winners many times in my life. And I always thought it was about me. And when I realized it wasn't about me, it's because God had put me there as a blessing.
mm,
And he also brought some Christian people alongside to make sure I didn't get, so be humble, lean into God, find truth in the Bible, not in the media, and look for other Christian friends that are seeking the same truth and really want to do it lovingly. That's why I love Celebrate Recovery.
yeah.
That's what that ministry does. Um, and there's many others that do. So I say humble yourself and ask God for help and connect with the community of Christians to hold you accountable for seeking help in God. That's really what it's all about.
It's so good, man. Well, Bryan, listen, thank you for coming on here and sharing your heart and sharing a lot of wisdom with us and pouring into our team today. We really appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Mike.
Everyone else, we can't wait to see you this Sunday. It's going to be a special Sunday here at GC. So we will see you this Sunday, GC. Bye, guys.